Anna Kendrick's directorial debut, Netflix's Woman of the Hour, is based on the real-life serial killer Rodney Alcala, Daniel Zovatto, but it does leave out some details. The film is based on Alcala's real-life appearance on the popular 1970s television show The Dating Game in search of his next victim in 1978, which led to how Rodney Alcala was ultimately caught. This appearance has widely dubbed Alcala as the dating game killer in the years since his imprisonment for his crimes. Woman of the Hour touches upon a number of Alcala's later crimes surrounding his appearance on the dating game, but ultimately focuses on how one woman's intuition saved her life. In Woman of the Hour, Anna Kendrick plays Cheryl Bradshaw, the real-life host of the dating game that day, and after choosing Alcala from her lineup of bachelors, ultimately told the producers that she sensed something strange about Alcala and would not go out with him. However, the film does not touch upon Alcala's initial arrest, sex offender registration, or criminal trial. 6. The Taylor Shapiro case. The case marked Alcala's first documented assault. The real Alcala narrowly fled the scene after the 1968 beating and sexual assault of 8-year-old Taylor Shapiro. Shapiro only survived because a neighbor called the police to the scene upon seeing Alcala luring the child into his home, via ABC 2020. Shapiro was lured into Alcala's home on the lie that he knew her parents. Shapiro's family was then residing at the storied Chateau Marmorne in Los Angeles. When police arrived at the scene, they found that the young Shapiro had been brutally beaten with a steel bar. Shapiro remained in a coma for 32 days, and ultimately survived her attack. Following his attack on Shapiro, Alcala went on to attack 23-year-old flight attendant Cornelia Crilly in New York City in 1971. Crilly was strangled with a pair of her stockings, as shown in Woman of the Hour. Crilly's murder remained unsolved until 2011 due to the lack of witnesses, as Alcala had helped her move furniture into her empty apartment, via New York Post. After the FBI added Alcala to their most wanted list, he was identified by campers at the girls' arts camp he was employed at in New Hampshire. Shapiro's family had already relocated to Mexico and refused to allow her to testify. However, as Shapiro's case was the only one that bore witnesses to an attempted murder, Alcala was only charged with child molestation, and served 2 years in prison until 1974. He then kidnapped, assaulted, and provided marijuana to another 13-year-old girl upon his release, resulting in another 2 years in prison, and he was released in 1976, via OC Weekly. 5. Alcala was placed on the FBI's most wanted list. The list led to his first arrest. Alcala was on the FBI's most wanted list several years before his appearance on the dating game. Following the Crilly murder, Alcala fled New York City for New Hampshire, where he worked as a camp counselor at a girls' arts camp under the alias John Berger. 2 campers identified Alcala based on his photo on an FBI poster, leading to his initial arrest for child molestation, via People. This first arrest led Alcala to register as a sex offender, a repeat offense he would continue to commit. Following his prison stay post-New Hampshire, Alcala went on to murder Ellen Jane Hover, the 23-year-old daughter of nightclub owner Herman Hover and goddaughter of singer-actors Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr., via Inside Edition. He lured her under his false name of John Berger, inviting her to be photographed by the Hudson River. Her remains were found near the John D. Rockefeller estate a year later, via the New York Times. He was questioned as the Hillside Strangler. The stranglers were later revealed to be 2 other killers. Following the Hover disappearance, Alcala fled back to California, where he found work as a typesetter at the Los Angeles Times. In 1978, he was interviewed by police who were a part of the Hillside Strangler Task Force, who ultimately concluded that he was not the strangler. He was arrested yet again for marijuana possession, via LA Weekly. This event is alluded to in Woman of the Hour, though it is not expanded upon as to why Alcala was interviewed in the first place. Alcala murdered Jill Terry Barkham of Oneida, New York, in Los Angeles in 1977. The 18-year-old had been raped, beaten, and bound with rope ties. Her body was discarded on a dirt path near Mulholland Drive. This murder was initially believed to have been connected to the Hillside Stranglers, Kenneth Bianchi and Angelo Buono, via LA Weekly. Neither confessed to the murder, and it was later tied to Alcala.